don't forget to subscribe.
What did I do wrong? Voter fraud. What is voter fraud?
Voting when you're not supposed to.
Shortly after law enforcement officers started arresting 20 people around the state of Florida for voting illegally in the 2020 election.
And now they're going to pay the price for it.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced the arrests were the result of an investigation by his newly formed election police.
Before I proposed this, and this was my idea.
What he didn't announce,
Why would y'all let me vote if I wasn't able to vote?
there was a common theme among the arrestees.
Voter fraud, I voted, but I ain't commit no fraud.
They didn't understand why they were being arrested.
Oh my God.
The Solutionaries have learned most, if not all of those arrested, thought their rights had been restored because they were allowed to register to vote.
They sent me a voter registration card.
Including Peter Washington.
That would make me think that I was eligible to vote, or my rights were reinstated.
Did you intentionally cast an illegal ballot?
No.
Those same voters have gotten voter ID cards from the very government who is now charging them. Hi, I'm Neil Voles. I'm the Deputy Director of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Got involved in the movement in 2015 and helped lead the efforts to pass Amendment 4 in 2018. Ultimately, we're dealing with a data management problem. We should bring in the best experts we can and then put the systems and processes so that we can simply give somebody a yes or no within a short period of time once they register to vote.
Voles says the state needs a centralized database where people with felony convictions can check their eligibility.
The system is broken on the front end, and that's where we need to focus our solution.
According to the American Civil Liberties Union, in many states, everyone can vote except people currently in prison. In 19 states, people with felony convictions can vote after completing their sentence, and rights are automatically restored. So there's nothing they have to do. Florida is one of 7 states where people with certain felony convictions, like murder and sex crimes, cannot vote.
States like Louisiana, states like Alabama, you can go to a website, you can call somebody and get assurances and verification on the front end that you're eligible to vote.
Here's how the state of Alabama creates a safeguard in the system. In Alabama, people with felony convictions that are not murder or sex crimes, after completing their sentences, first apply for a certificate of eligibility to register to vote with the Board of Pardons and Paroles. The wait is up to 44 days to process voting rights restoration applications. If the certificate of eligibility is not granted, the person is not even allowed to register. That alone could fix Florida's problem.
The state of Florida could fix it. I'm Jeff Brandis, and I was the author of the implementing bill for Amendment 4.
Brandis says under Florida statute, all of the people arrested were ineligible to vote because they were convicted of murder or sexual offenses.
The Secretary of State's office just needs to do its job and compile the list of people who are convicted of felonies, or of sexual offenses or murder, and let's start there.
Brandis agrees with Voles that a centralized database would simplify the process.
It's fairly simple if somebody is convicted of one felony in one county. Mm-hmm. It gets much more complicated when you have multiple felonies in multiple jurisdictions.
Do you think correcting this is a priority for the state?
I think it should be. They could have a website dedicated to how felons can get their rights restored. They could have a standardized process and a standardized receipt that you're eligible to vote. It's just really a question of resources and how much resources the state is willing to put into solving these problems.
Why would y'all let me vote if I wasn't able to vote?
Meantime, the statewide prosecutor has dropped the charges against Tony Patterson, citing information received from the Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections and the defendant's incarceration in an unrelated case as reasons. It is now the second case of the 20 that has been dismissed or had charges dropped. The Florida Rights Restoration Coalition says it believes a data management program could be put together inside of 1 year. Brandis says if the Secretary of State's office needs the money to do it, they should be asking the legislature for it during the next session. We ask you, do you think a centralized database will help fix the problem? Leave us a comment below and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to see more solutions.